Bruce contacted me right before the stream, and he said, I'm really comparing the beauty of Disney live action Snow White to a horror film that looks trash. And I'm like, yes, I will. And I support projects that challenge IP and fair use and what's public domain. I love all that stuff. So I'm actually more interested in the death of Snow White than the Rachel Zegler
weird
Snow White live action Disney movie. Me personally, I'm going to show everyone. But even with that said, we actually have a dropout in the Snow White War of 2025 of all the movies coming out. We had 3 enter the competition. 1 has already failed to complete, and it's not Hollywood. Hollywood hasn't failed. Do you know who's failed? Joe Voltaire, do you know who's failed already?
Who's that?
The Daily Wire. The Daily Wire has failed. Yes, it's not Hollywood. It's the outlet with the biggest agenda out there. So unfortunately, Gina Carano, no shade to Gina, and now Brett Cooper are no longer working with Daily Wire. Snow White and the Evil Queen, actress Brett Cooper, they're even talking about here will not be a focus. No one's talking about this. No one's talking about this at all. They announced this. I was going to give this a shot. I was actually going to give this a shot.
Oh, same. Max, you pulled up an article from Shitting into Diapers.
Well, Bounding in the Comics, yes, of course they are on every single hanging on every single word the Daily Wire talks about. But I was going to give this a shot. I was going to go see both Snow White movies and compare and give them a fair shot.
Daily Wire movies don't get a theatrical run. You have to pay for the Daily Wire.
Right. I was going to try to see it whatever way I could. If I could rent it VOD, I don't want to do a Daily Wire subscription. But yes, no one's talking about how the Brett Cooper Snow White and the Evil Queen is not happening. And it's not Hollywood that's failed. It's Daily Wire. Any thoughts, Voltaire, on this?
I don't know. I feel like the Daily Wire, I mean, we don't like to talk about politics on the show. I feel like the last 6 months to a year, no, more than that, about a year. Yeah. I think they had some steam behind them, but I feel like they've kind of blown it by going a little too wacko, mostly from Shapiro.
Well, they were going to get into the entertainment industry. What happened to that? It's over.
They made a bunch of crappy movies that nobody liked. Like Terror on the Prairie.
Have you seen Terror on the Prairie, though, Joe, to be fair?
I don't have to. I mean,
you do.
Well, it's safe to say Terror on the Prairie wasn't profitable, at least. I'm not saying it's bad, but...
Did anybody, did you hear anything positive? I didn't hear anyone say anything positive about that.
I'm embarrassed to admit I haven't watched it.
I will watch it. I'll give it a shot.
Are you so? I knew Brett Cooper has parted ways with them. Are you saying Gina also parted ways with them?
Well, they haven't announced anything else.
No. She publicly parted with them before her Disney lawsuit. It's part of why she went after Disney, because she wasn't working with them anymore. She had nothing. She didn't even have the Daily Wire anymore.
To be fair, she just didn't announce a new project. If it was a success, they would probably announce another partnership, right? But
I don't know.
It's just crickets.
She kind of made a big deal out of how she wasn't working with them anymore.
Okay.
Is that right?
So you're not going to hear this from all the YouTubers. It's not Hollywood or Disney that's failed. It's Daily Wire, And I was willing. I was like, more competition. Competition breeds quality. I wasn't against this. I was like, all this smack that this side of the internet talks about, I was like, okay, let's see what you got. Apparently they got nothing. They have nothing. I'm disappointed. All you get is the Matt Walsh documentaries. That's it. That's all you get.
Those
for Daily
seem very
Wire.
popular. Yeah.
Yeah, they promoted those Daily Wire subscriptions for a whole entertainment angle of the Daily Wire, and it's over. Okay, that's all I have to say. Again,
Well, it's really, I mean, in all fairness, and I'm not defending them, it's really hard to create like a streaming platform and create content on it that people are going to pay for. Like, I mean, even the big boys are having a problem.
I'm Can you imagine the how much support you would get if you had this movie go up against Rachel Ziegler's Disney Snow White? As much complaining is going on it.
I don't think you get any support.
Oh yeah, you would.
A fraction. I mean, people don't care that much about Snow White.
So what if, Joe? Let me ask you a question. What if Warner Brothers came out with a Snow White movie? Because it's whatever, because they can.
Anyone can.
Yeah, I don't see it being a big success. I remember a couple years ago. Well, one of them kind of hit, I guess. But remember a couple years ago, the Warring Snow White movies, Mirror Mirror with Julia Roberts came out at the exact same time as Snow White and the Huntsman with Kristen Stewart. And I guess the Kristen Stewart one was a moderate hit because they made a sequel to it, although she didn't come back, so the sequel didn't even have Snow White in it.
The Huntsman, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she had the controversy with the director, and then they're like, we have Thor. We might as well just make a movie about the Huntsman. I'd rather watch, rest in peace. Not Daily Wire, Anthony Cheeseman, just
Daily Wire streaming entertainment.
Yeah, Daily Wire Entertainment is done, and I was looking forward to the competition. I was all for it.
So it's funny because Daily Wire makes a ton of money. Like they have a bunch of loyal subscribers. I guess they couldn't get enough people to do this, or this was just too expensive, because they do make
just a PR stunt. That's it. That's all it was.
Well, they do a lot of that. Like, remember when Hershey's came out with candy bars? They started coming out with candy bars. They do a lot of grifting in that regard, if you will.
Yeah. All right. Well, let me bring up the article about the death of Snow White. Listen, everyone, please thumbs up the video. I did finally reach a goal with all your support, and I'm strong. I wanted to talk about something other than just DC. Although we do have DC topic tonight too. We do have a DC topic tonight too.